Hello. In this video, I want to talk about truly understanding the thing you're drawing. So, I've had to give this a lot of thought. And the thing is, if you just draw from photos that you didn't take, it can be extremely difficult to get a full understanding of your subject matter because you're always relying on images to tell you the story. I think this is really where drawing from life shines, which can be difficult because I usually talk about different drawing concepts, and drawing from actual real life could be a challenge in itself because you're fighting a lot of different factors, and there are also a lot of factors that I don't know 100% about yet, and I will share them once I learn them. But to give a simple example, I am going to draw a cone. And the purpose is you want to be able to draw something from all sides, or at least have reference from all sides. Like, you may not need to know, you don't have to hold everything in your head all at once. I think that's way too difficult, if near impossible, but I think taking the time to do a study of something that you can move around that may not move. Like, I think there are some things that are extremely hard to draw, say like a wasp, like a bug, the insect. They move around really fast. I mean, sometimes you can try to draw them, but like most insects in the insect world are pretty much all bugs and arachnids. They're always trying to survive, so unless they are taking a rest, they're not going to stay around long for you to draw them, compared to something like a rock. like that rock, like if you have a rock in front of you, or like a pebble, it is not going to move unless you kick it or something else moves it or an earthquake happens. And even then, considering if you're in an area where like an earthquake would really move it significantly. But do you kind of understand what I'm saying? Like, maybe pick subjects that don't move as much, or you very well could use a camera to take a bunch of different angle shots of something. Although it can be difficult to do that sometimes because, well, you may not have, like, I feel like everything has to be on like a glass pane or a glass plane of some sort, so you could see like the undersides of it as well, because more often than not, we can't just, float through objects to take the perspectives of different angles, which is a bit frustrating that we don't have that, like, I don't know, I keep thinking Minecraft creative mode in which you could just kind of go through anything. Not that I play Minecraft. I mean, I haven't played Minecraft for a long time. Like, we're talking long time. But, like, whenever I would be with friends, you could, like, set that mode to do, like, cool stuff. Pretty much like levitate to make more complex things. Okay, I'm going to draw this cone. I'm trying to ghost my lines a lot. Perhaps I will have to, like, find a way to stick a camera on my hat and do real-life drawing videos in the field of things to try to get a perspective and share more on this topic. So we have a cone, and in this case we're kind of like, it is, how do I say, we're above looking below at it. But if you were to, say, look at it at eye level, well, let me draw the line first. At eye level, things kind of change a lot. Like, if it was sitting, like, on the horizon, it's gonna look like a line. And it's still a cone, and it still has an ellipse right here, but it's flat based on our perspective. So, like, sometimes you'll be looking at something and when you change your perspective, haha, because you know, people say, oh, you just need to change your perspective on the thing, but you know, when you change your perspective, it changes how you look at something. So that's the important thing to really keep in the back of your head. And there's a lot of different ways to view a cone. Like, let's say we were viewing it. Let's say it was like straight on, right? If it was like straight on pointing at us, well, look, in this case, this axis that we were using to align our cone, and this point, we're seeing the direct bottom, and that line is still there, but we can't see the pointy top of it because our perspective. I mean, very well you could draw a line if you were to say, well, no, that it doesn't really. Well, you know, if you think of a cone, like you really couldn't see those sides in that perspective. But let's say our cone is receding in 3D space a bit. Well, I kind of have to account for the ellipse being tilted in the right way. Sorry, I'm trying to make it more centered. That kind of works. So like our cone here is tilted in 3D space, and I'll do another one to make it even more so. And let me think of another way. So like, you know, we have the line here, and I feel like more often than not, like, you know, if we make the line receding shorter in 3D space, you can try to exaggerate more. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you could play with it and try to orient our cone. I mean, the possibilities are probably endless. I would not be surprised. Like in this case, kind of like that, I think. And let me think of another view. There's got to be a ton of different views you can make. But the interesting thing here is, like, since we're seeing less of the top cone here, it's kind of like this one is kind of tilting more back in 3D space until you eventually get to a point like that in which it's tilted even more so. So you could see how, well, I guess this axis line should probably be up a little bit more. I kind of messed up at centering it as much as I wanted it to be centered. But I hope that kind of helps explain the point a bit. Now let me think of another. Like in this case, I drew it like that. Sorry, I'm gonna have to. No. Well, you know, like I said, there are various ways you can try to do it. You could try to make it even more tilted or so. You really will have to play around with it, and if you spend time trying to experiment with simple objects, drawing them from different perspectives, I also highly recommend you try to do this with a box. You'll learn a lot about how things sit in 3D space. It's really interesting. I mean, I've always had a hard time visualizing boxes if they're placed, say, above me in 3D space. But you'll really have to play around and try a bunch of different sides, and for like the simple objects, but like I said, I always recommend going out in the field and maybe drawing maybe like a flower or a leaf or some other object in your house that isn't too complicated when you're starting out. So I hope this gives you some tools to use in your own time. Thanks for listening. If you like my channel, please subscribe. If you like the video, please like it. If you have a question, please put it in the comments. Bye.